everybody, and welcome to this author interview for the COABE Journal. I'm Don Finn, and I serve as editor of the COABE Journal, and I am pleased to be highlighting one of the contributions to the COABE Journal Special Edition on family literacy. The article that we're highlighting is entitled From Barriers to Bridges, Recognizing Immigrant Families' Digital Literacy Practices to Advance Digital Equity. This is written by Rachel Riggs and Alexis Cherewka, and they're both from World Education. And Rachel is joining us today to talk a little bit about the article. So, Rachel, welcome. Would you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Don. Sure. My name is Rachel Riggs, and I am a technical advisor at World Education. So I do a lot of work for our Ed Tech Center, supporting teachers in integrating ed tech and digital literacy. And we also recently launched our AI for Learning and Work initiative, and I lead that effort as well. But my background is in teaching English to speakers of other languages, and I've done that in adult basic education programs and also as a family literacy instructor. So I was really excited to be able to put together some research and thoughts and ideas from my experience for this article and work with Alexis, of course, on that.
Excellent. Thanks so much for introducing yourself. And this article is great, in particular because you have that family literacy background, which of course comes into play very nicely in the article, but also about digital equity and various aspects of digital literacy. So it's a great contribution. So if you don't mind, could you just speak a little bit to why you wrote this article for the COABE Journal?
Sure. We really wanted to bridge what's known about the barriers that immigrant families face when it comes to digital equity, digital inclusion, and of course, digital literacy. We wanted to bridge that with an asset-based approach that builds on their everyday diverse digital literacy practices with the hopes that that can help shape family literacy programming. Some of those practices include sustaining transnational connections, sharing and maintaining cultural and linguistic funds of knowledge, engaging in intergenerational learning experiences, and applying a cultural lens to navigate a complex technological landscape. So those are some of the themes that you'll find in the article.
And each of those themes are addressed so well. Those are subheadings within the article, which are very, very interesting. Really provide insights, particularly to folks who may not be quite as familiar with those concepts. So let me ask you this: how how will adult education practitioners benefit from reading your article, and what impact do you envision that happening with the students with whom they work?
Sure. So, like I said in that earlier response, we really hope it supports an asset-based approach to family literacy program design and that educators can draw on the existing skills, usage, and access that learners have to create opportunities for them to actively and critically engage with technology. As a former practitioner myself, I think about how what I needed to know about every learner, no matter the lesson, no matter the context, no matter the learner really, was what is their foundation? Where are we starting? And what are the gaps? So I think when we think about digital literacy and how that works in a family literacy setting, we need to know those same things. What are they already working with? What are their digital literacy practices that already exist? What access do they have to technology? And then from there, we can begin to address any gaps and integrate that into our instruction. So this was really just about giving that balanced approach because there is rightfully so a lot of emphasis on the barriers. And we wanted to think about, okay, so what's the foundation? What are we working with? What are the assets that these learners are bringing to the family literacy classroom?
And I really appreciate that approach as a professor of adult education. The concept and the idea of that prior knowledge, the cultural knowledge and background of our learners, and what role does that play when they are learning new information and taking in new information is so critical because it provides them with context and it really gives them a jumping off point. So that asset-based approach is just excellent, and it really does ring through the writing of the entire article. And so, with that, what do you hope the readers are going to take away from the article?
So I think this is twofold. One thing I hope they take away is just a better understanding and awareness. What I know about adult educators from my work with them is they really care and they really want to understand the learners that they're working with. So I hope that by highlighting some of things that we really do know about immigrant families and how they're using technology in the home, how they're using technology to connect to their communities, whether those be overseas or locally. Those insights, I think, they will enrich adult educators' perspectives and understanding. And I think that matters, and that hopefully they will take that away and it will support them in their work. And then the other thing I really hope is that there's some really practical stuff in the article as well. We tried to include some of the tools that we know exist, some of the strategies we know work, so that anybody reading the article can not just think conceptually about an asset-based approach, but also have a few things that they can pull from in order to begin implementing it.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the designing for digital equity. That last portion of the article where you really talk about different things that need to be taken into consideration through integrating digital technologies and building the digital knowledge and competencies in the students, which is great. And also the figure that you include, the ecosystem for equitable ESOL learning and digital resilience, is really nice. The way that it talks about the values and the assets based focus and data sharing and so on. Really, really interesting. So I encourage our listeners, our viewers, to take a look at that particular framework that's provided at the end of the article. With that, do you have any additional comments that you'd like to share, Rachel?
Sure. I'll just say thank you. I want to say thank you to practitioners for everything that they contribute to building on our body of knowledge in this area. Thank you for committing yourselves to English language learners and to family literacy. I think those are such things that we invest in our communities and in society. So that's a thank you to all of you. And I really want to recognize and say thank you to my co-author, Alexis. She wasn't able to participate in the interview, but her research in family literacy and immigrant inclusion was pivotal to the development of the article, and it really gave it the bones that we needed. So thank you, Alexis, for helping me out with that.
Well, thank you, Rachel, and thanks to Alexis as well. Excellent contribution. Again, the article is entitled From Barriers to Bridges, Recognizing Immigrant Families' Digital Literacy Practices to Advance Digital Equity. This article and other great articles can be found in the Family Literacy edition of the COABE Journal. You can access the article and the entire edition, and in fact, look at some past editions of the COABE Journal by going to the COABE website, coabe.org, and clicking on the COABE Journal link on the home page. All the information for acquiring the articles is available there. So again, Rachel, thank you, and also to Alexis for your contribution, and thanks to our viewers for viewing in. We hope that this has been beneficial, and we wish you well.
Thanks, Don. Thanks, COABE.